All right, family. Thank you for tuning in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community. I am your host, Ken Gordon. Welcome to Commitments Radio, the show that provides hope, healing, and help for relationships. We are building stronger and healthier relationships, one conversation at a time. Here's my disclaimer. Opinions expressed by the host are not the opinions of this radio station, its owners, affiliates, or advertisers. Opinions expressed by the guests are definitely not my opinions or the hosts of the radio station, affiliates, owners, advertisers, and anybody else of the radio station or the Commitments Radio Show. We have a couple of sponsors that I want to get to today. Our first sponsor is Discover Your Community at the House of Light Church. Join us for inspiring worship, meaningful connections, and a place to grow your faith. At the House of Light Church, you'll find authentic love, truth, and community without judgment or pretense. Sunday services are at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Visit us in person or join us live via live stream at hoflchurch.org, and that's where you can get more information on the location of the church, the House of Light Church, where you belong. Our second sponsor is Dianu, a black-owned, ready-to-wear bold print clothing line offering quality, trendy, African-inspired fashion at affordable prices. Check out their products at www.diyanu.com. Use the code commit to you. That's commit, the number 2 and the letter U to get a 15% discount on your entire order. All right, family, we got another special show for you today. Thank you for joining us on another Wednesday at 6 p.m. We have a show that we're calling A Daughter and Her Dad, and I have a really special guest, probably one of my most specialist guests, my very own daughter, Cidnee Gordon. And it's funny because when she was growing up, she had a friend, and somebody asked her if she was her friend, and she said she's my specialist friend. Do you remember that?
I do not.
All right, well, take my word for it. It really happened. But nonetheless, Cidnee Gordon is my daughter, and I am so delighted to have her on the show with me this evening. All you really need to know about her is that she is a phenomenal woman and she is adulting and trying to figure it all out, just like all of us. And so, Cidnee, welcome to the Commitments Radio Show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
All right, so we're going to jump in. We wanted to do a show to talk, as we were talking about relationships. We really wanted to do a show about kind of, instead of from the parents to the kids, we really wanted to kind of flip that and kind of look at it from the standpoint of the daughter, in this particular case, to the dad. And so we're going to really kind of focus in that particular area, and we're going to talk about. So we're going to ask Cidnee some questions on a variety of different things. So Cidnee, what is one of your earliest memories with your dad?
Um, so thinking back on it, I really don't remember what event it was or why it was taking place, but I had to have been in like the fifth or the sixth grade, and you were like going on a trip.
I'm sorry, you mean your dad, not the radio host, you mean your dad.
Yes, my father. My father was going on a trip, and for some reason, like I think it was a play or something that I was in, and I don't think that you were able to make it. And so I was just like super bummed out about it.
Hmm.
And then I remember being on stage, and I don't know if like what exact time frame it was, but I know it was like when I was younger. But you were super famous for like wearing the trench coat and the fedora combo. And so I just remember like looking into the crowd and seeing that and just being like so elated and happy that you actually were able to make it because I wasn't expecting you to be there. And I think that's like my earliest memory because I know we have a lot of like videos and pictures and stuff of me when I was younger and like daddy daughter dances and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't remember those.
Okay.
Cute though.
Why do you think that particular memory stands out to you?
Um, I think I'm just a very big like quality time person.
Hmm.
and show up person. And so when people show up to for me and kind of extend that like love in a way, it's really important for me. And I think it's important for all children, especially when it comes to like your parents,
Hmm.
for your kids to see you like showing up for things that they deem important to like
Okay.
to them specifically.
All right. That's really interesting because there are those kids out there whose parents are working. They
Hmm.
have working parents, and their parents never. I mean, you see it in movies all the time. The parent never is able to make it to their events or to their choir, performances or whatever.
Hmm.
How do you, as a person, how do you reconcile your parents' absence with the fact that they do or do not love you? How do you relate the two?
Um, well, because I am such a big quality time person, it's a little hard when I was younger to understand that sort of like love for me, like not being given in certain ways that I wanted it to. Um, but I think as I've gotten older and being almost 30,
Okay,
um,
Miss
like,
Dramatic.
moving on up in age of sorts and thinking about like a marriage and my own kids, trying to give myself grace for certain things of just like the reality of what it means to be a parent.
Hmm.
Both of my brothers have children, and I think the more that I've gotten older and understood aspects of like myself growing up, like I was a very spoiled child,
Hmm.
and I couldn't imagine like coming home to a me where like you've just went out there and nose to pavement type of working, and then you come home and your daughter's like, so can we go shopping tomorrow, because like I saw this super cute purse in the mall, and like I would be like, get out of my face. um, and so
Right.
like extending that grace, and there are some apologies that you're never going to get, but if you can find the sort of happy medium of like at the end of the day, you guys were my parents, were human beings, and there is only so much that you can really um do as a parent. Like parenthood is super duper hard work, and I understand that, which is why I'm not a parent. I take my hat off to parents all over the world because it's a different, it turns you into a different person. And so I can kind of understand the wanting to really, really hard provide your children with something, but also needing to work and be involved in other areas so that you can provide. I think it's
Right.
a thin line, but I think it's understandable because of just humanity,
Yeah.
money, such.
When it comes to the relationship with your dad, what lessons did your dad teach you that you've carried through your life?
Um, I think the biggest lesson was probably speaking up for myself.
Hmm.
Um, and I think there's a lot of like speaking up for yourself is so broad, like the Grand Canyon,
Hmm.
but there's so many like nooks and crannies into that that I think allowed me to discover myself as a human being. When you speak up for yourself, you have to know what you want and what you
Hmm.
don't want and what's acceptable and what's not. And so learning that, I think for a point, was really, really nice growing up, because I was very opinionated and I was very talkative, I think
Hmm.
is the good way to put it. Um, and having that, I think, just exploit it, it allowed me to explore so much more than just like speaking up for myself. I think it lets you discover like the type of person that you are.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to take a break and we're going to come back. We're talking to Cidnee Gordon, and we're talking to her about her relationship with her dad, her father. And we're going to take a break. You listen to Commitments Radio on WDRB Media. We're going to be right back after the break.